Hello trader, welcome back to another weekly forex forecast for the last week of June 2025. As you have seen guys, past week was pretty volatile due to quite a few events as well as the high impact news came. Now this week, this is the last week of the month, and also followed by we will see the first week of the month with the NFP. So these 2 weeks could be pretty crazy, especially gold as well as USD pairs. So in this weekly forex forecast, I'm going to do a full multi-time frame analysis on all the instruments that you guys can see on the list on DXY, British Pound US Dollar, AUD USD, Euro Dollar, Dollar CAD, XAU USD, and Yen pairs GBP JPY and Dollar Yen. So starting with first of all DXY, to see how we can find trading opportunity from the multi-time frame analysis. Now before I progress further, traders, make sure that you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Press the notification bell so that you are not missing any of the content that I'm posting every single day, including daily analysis as well as the live sessions. Also stay connected by joining the Telegram channel. You can find link below this video for regular trade updates as well as ideas that I'm sharing for the community every day. So let's begin this week's weekly forex forecast, starting with DXY. Let's begin with, first of all, bigger picture, looking at to see overall direction in this market. So looking at monthly chart on DXY, we can see that from the monthly, this is bear market. Starting from here, we can see that there was a pretty sharp drop with a stronger momentum from this level. And with the drop, what we have seen that on DXY, the market currently, after the previous monthly doji, this month so far we have seen significant bearish move. Now this is current monthly candle, which is almost at the last of the month here last week. And what we have seen that with the market open, there is no almost wick at the top, so which is a sign that it's a highly falling market and the price didn't test this monthly high. So we can see there is a wick been created on the lower side of this monthly candle. And this week, what I think that if the market goes up, which could be an opportunity for us to come down again to fill that monthly wick. So as it is on a pullback, what I think that this week we might see deeper pullback to the upside that can give us potential selling opportunity in this market. Now let's look at the weekly chart here. What kind of trading opportunity we have from the weekly? We can see that from here, this is the long wick from the weekly, pretty long doji, followed by a strong red bear candle, both of them bearish, followed by another long wick. And we can see the market was forming series of lower high. And there is a very important pattern that we can recognize here is that the market was maintaining that series of lower high in this direction. So that means this week we can expect a break of this series of lower high. As this is falling market, we can expect for the price to break that high. That will trigger the liquidity and we can expect for the market to reject back again in the major direction of the trend. So dropping down to the daily to see how the price action is evolving here, we can see that from the daily there was a break of structure here in the direction of the trend, and the market has formed that lower low, and then the price throughout the week, this week we saw that there was a pullback to the upside to this key level, which this is a daily key level, which is quite significant for this week. What I think the market may potentially go back for another retest. The price is in between the daily 10 and 20 EMA, which is creating a very important zone here. So what we can expect here on the daily for the price to potentially go back here for retest and then to reject back again to create a new lower low in this market. So looking at the intraday time frame from the 4-hour chart here on XAU USD, we can see that there is a pretty sharp head and shoulder formation here currently on 4-hour chart, which could mean a potential reversal which may happen, as if you look at here, it's a bear market. From very long time it was maintaining that series of lower high and lower low. So if we draw this trend line from the 4-hour perspective here, we can see that this is where the market was trending in a sharp downtrend, maintaining this resistance line, and also you see a head and shoulder formation. And what I think this week we might see a neckline retest of this level, potentially to bounce here a little higher in the beginning of the week, retest this neckline, or potentially retest this trend line or breaking above, and that can give us potential selling opportunity in this market. As we are at the end of the month, this is the monthly resistance line, and this is also, if you look at here again on the monthly, we can see the price almost reached that level and then return back. So therefore any push back to the upside here is where we could see potential selling opportunity on DXY. So that could be a zone or wave that we can see this week for DXY. Before the monthly close, we might see the price to come back here to close along this zone as a monthly bear candle. So this is the wave that we could see initially, potential sideways or bullish bias, followed by weak fill from the monthly at the end of the week. So based on that, let's look at British pound US dollar to see what kind of trading opportunity you might see. Again, looking at the monthly chart to see overall direction in this market. So looking at monthly on British pound US dollar, you can see that this is pretty sharp bull market from the monthly on GBPUSD, maintaining that series of higher low, which is a sharp uptrending market structure on GBPUSD. And because it's in an uptrend, and if we look at this monthly support, if we define these two significant monthly support here, that you can see that GBPUSD may potentially retest and then to reject back again in the major direction. So looking at the weekly chart here on British pound US dollar, if we look at first of all the market structure here, which is significantly bullish, we can see from here after this inverted head and shoulder formation, GBPUSD bounce followed by this pullback, and we can see another bounce followed by this pullback, and the market is maintaining that series of higher high and higher low, which is in an uptrending market structure, followed by we can see a pretty strong swing high here, which is turning support here. And I think that this week we might see a potential retest of this 10 EMA, also aligning with this very important resistance, which is turning support here. And from that zone, we can expect for this market to potentially bounce back again to create a new higher high in this market. So looking at daily chart here on British pound US dollar, we can see that from the daily, there was a breakup structure here past week, followed by a pullback, and last day of trading week it formed a long pin bar or doji. Now this week, what I think initially you might see break of this low, and that could give a potentially momentum, or we could see break of the daily low and then reject back again to form a potential double bottom here, and then to return again in the direction of the major trend. So looking at the intraday here, that could give possibly back-to-back two session we saw the last week bear candle that might lead the price a little bit downside with the market open. What I think that this could be the potential wave here. So if you look at this is the daily low last day of trading week, which is forming a support level, and here is a move that you can see on the 4-hour coming for a pullback. And with that being said, that could be a potential zone here that you can look at on British pound US dollar to see potential entry. So this is where as soon as we will find suitable entry after price action confirmation, we will be looking to go long with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at AUD USD. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have in this instrument. Now looking at AUD USD, we can see that the monthly chart on AUD USD, which is so far bullish. This is a long-term bull market. Starting from here, we can see that this is the monthly impulse, which is pretty sharp impulse, and this current monthly candle from here, we have seen that the market has moved back to the upside, followed by it started to drop again to this monthly support level, and the price may retest this monthly support. And as this market already has initiated initial monthly bounce, what I think that after a retest of this support, we could see the market to again revert back to the upside here. Now looking at the weekly chart here, we can see that from the weekly, this is the weekly price action, which is a sharp bearish pin bar, and that might lead the price to drop a little further here from the weekly, which is an important support here, which is what I think the price test and then return again to the upside for another bounce in that market. Now looking at daily chart here on AUD USD, we can see that from the daily there was sharp consolidation in that area, which is a pretty strong consolidation. Could be a little downside here because the market is breaking from that consolidation, which might bring that price below further here, and from that zone we can expect that the market to potentially revert back again, and that could be a significant level of support that you can look at on AUD USD for potential rejection back to the upside. So here is on the intraday time frame, we can see the market was consolidating and slowly breaking below. So that being said, on the lower time frame, we still could see some bearish move here, and I think that on AUD USD may try to come back to this support level, which is an important support, as this market is here on the lower time frame maintaining that series of lower high, expecting AUD USD to potentially drop here, retest, and then to revert back again in the major direction of the trend. So that we could see that a potential a mirror of the DXY that we can expect in this instrument as well. So looking at euro dollar here, we can see that euro dollar, looking at again monthly, now just the mirror of DXY, which is reflecting on euro USD, and we can see that euro dollar from this support level, there is a big bounce, which is pretty sharp bounce here on euro dollar, followed by a monthly doji formation with a gap open in this area. So with this gap open from the monthly, we can see that the price in this area, the price initially has made its bounce with a stronger momentum, and it's leaving a long wick at the top. So any pullback is where we can expect this market again to revert back, so which is a very important support that you can look for potential buying opportunity in this market. So looking at the weekly chart here, that you can see that euro dollar close to it a red narrow doji. Now in this uptrending market, so if you look at the weekly market structure, which is well-defined uptrending market, that we can see that typical, which is starting from here, a sharp bounce followed by this pullback, and you can see that another bounce followed by deeper pullback, and where we can see the last week a doji formation, which is pretty sharp bullish market structure, expecting that euro dollar to potentially retest or even what I think that if the price managed to break this weekly low, where we can look for potential buy opportunity on Euro USD, where there is a doji here, which is sharp level for long-term buy opportunity. Now, looking at the daily chart here on euro dollar, we can see that it's potentially setting up for another bullish move. And here is the daily time frame that we can spot the bull flag in this market, and that bull flag is quite important. If you look at here, you can see that the market is slowly trying to go back up to the top of the bull flag. And as we see that from the weekly, there is a doji, and I think that euro dollar still could remain in this sideway on the lower time frame for another potential break. As you know, that in this kind of bull flag, mostly we can expect a break below before it trend back towards the upside. So looking at the 4-hour chart here from the intraday on euro dollar, we can see that from the intraday time frame, this is where a sharp bull flag in this market. So what we can expect here on euro USD for the price to potentially come back here for another possible break below, and that's where what I think that we are expecting DXY to initially break above for further liquidity gap and then to return back. So we might see that mirroring on euro dollar to break below, grab that liquidity, and then to return again in the major direction of the trend. So that could be the potential wave on euro USD. Now let's look at that on dollar CAD. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have. Now looking at monthly chart on dollar CAD, we can see that from the monthly, the price is almost to the monthly resistance line on dollar CAD. So if you look at here, you can see that this is the monthly resistance, and from here we can see that there is a pretty sharp drop to that support on the monthly. The price has reached back again to this monthly level, and what we can expect on dollar CAD for this price potentially to what I think that as this week the price is almost reaching that monthly resistance. Any touch to the monthly resistance or break above could give potentially another wave of drop in this market, as it is sharply falling market. Now looking at the weekly chart here on dollar CAD, we can see that from the weekly, this is the weekly price action where sharp drop with a stronger momentum followed by this pullback, and we can see that another drop followed by this pullback, which is maintaining a typical downtrending market structure on dollar CAD. And what we can expect here for this price to potentially support turning resistance, and any break above can give potential further drop on dollar CAD, as it is a falling market. Now if we look at the daily chart, what we can see that from the daily, here is the daily move, which is pretty sharp bounce to the upside on the daily. And what we can spot here from the daily, a single green move, which is almost now nearly to 2.5 ATR to 3 ATR move to a key level of resistance line, which is the daily key level. And what I think with the market open, we might see a potential penetration to the upside that can give a high probability for this market again to drop back down here on dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, here we see that local uptrend and still maintaining that uptrend. So until we see the change of trend, we may not be able to enter sell. But what I think that as this market is approaching this key level, and also there is a neckline on the intraday time frame that we can see on dollar CAD while the market was reversing from here, and that zone is quite significant. We'll be waiting for a potential retest, and I think that the price may go ahead retest and then to trend back again in the major direction of the trend. So that could be the potential wave on dollar CAD for this upcoming week, as there is a monthly close coming. So now let's see XAUSD. Past week was very volatile, and we saw that quite a few false breakout here on the intraday time frame. And now this week at the end we saw that there was a bounce in that area. So let's first look at the bigger picture to see overall direction. Again, looking at the monthly, as we see there is a monthly close coming. The price has crossed this previous monthly high and also this monthly low here, two important monthly candlestick pattern formation. And this month the market, what you see, that has reached that high and then has got currently a rejection here. Now we may see that before the monthly close for the price to come down, or again the candle to go up to close above. So there are some fundamentals also involved in it, but as the market trend is long-term bullish, before the monthly close, what I think that the price is still may remain bullish here in the major direction of the trend. So therefore expecting XAUSD to remain bullish here for long term. Now looking at the weekly chart, that we can see a weekly candle closed with a narrow red candle, which has in fact a volume in it. Past week we saw that the whole week the market was bearish. Now if we look at this structure here, what kind of market structure has formed, that we can see that on XAUSD from the weekly, this is the current weekly low, and as it's a bull market for long-term picture, if we look at, the price was maintaining that series of high and low. So if you look at from here, we can see that the market was maintaining that series of high and low, and with this series of high and low formation, what we can expect that the market to potentially return back again in the direction of the trend. So therefore from the weekly XAUSD expecting to push back here in that direction. So looking at daily chart here on XAUUSD, we can see that the price has crossed both 10 and 20 MA multiple times, and with this cross of 10 and 20 MA, this is a daily smooth support level here. Two doji has crossed the 10 and 20 MA, and we can see that at the end of the week it's formed a long week candlestick pattern. So this week there are a couple of scenario possible, but I think that firstly we can see that from the daily it's still maintaining that series of lower high, which is quite a few days, almost throughout the week we saw that series of lower high. Now the back-to-back two daily dojis, so double dojis with a series of lower high, and I think that this week initially we could see a potential break of this daily high, and that's where quite important, as this is the daily high and also there is another daily high, and in between this, as if the market bounce, that's where series of lower high is broken, we might find selling pressure. So what I think that this week the market initially to break and then to return back here and then bounce back up, potentially forming an inverted head and shoulder, and to cross to the upside in the major direction of the trend. So keeping it in plan that intraday time frame, let's see what kind of market structure we might see here. So from the 4-hour time, we saw that last day of trading week, back to back two strong bullish candle formation has crossed that high, followed by two narrow dojis here, so which is an impulse pullback. And what I think this week in the beginning, after initial retest, we might see that an upside here, and that could form a potential inverted head and shoulder, which also this is an imbalance in the market, and where there is a daily imbalance, and that's where we can expect this market to go ahead, retest, drop back down, and form a complete and inverted head and shoulder, and then to trend back up to the major direction of the trend. So that's what could be this week on XAUUSD, and that we may see on the lower time frame for potential trading opportunity. So based on that, we in the beginning I will look to see potential buying opportunity here, and based on the price action. But this is could be the plan for XAUSD to see what kind of market structure forming throughout the week. We will also know this is the primary plan that we will follow on XAUSD to see if it is playing out, and based on that we will look for the key levels for an entry, as this is an important key level, and also this is also important key level for buying. So this is possible way for the upcoming week on XAUUSD. And also I do share regular analysis and trade ideas. Traders, make sure that you stay connected by joining the Telegram. You can find link below this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet, so that you are not missing any of the content that I'm posting every day. Now let's look at GBP JPY. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have. Looking at the monthly chart on GJ, we can see that from the monthly perspective, this is currently bull market. GBP JPY, from the bigger picture, we can see that it's a bull market here. From here, there is a long wick rejection to the upside on GJ, and with this monthly long wick, which may continue to rise here on GJ to the upside to create a new higher high here. And as it is maintaining that bullish market structure, we may see potential trend continuation in this market. Now looking at the weekly chart here on GBP JPY, we can see that from the weekly, this is bullish market structure. From here, pretty sharp bounce followed by this pullback, and we can see that from the weekly another impulse here, also maintaining that series of higher low formation here on GBP JPY. There is a weekly doji followed by another weekly bull candle in this market. So that being said, what we can expect on GJ, that to continue uptrend, and we might see the price to go ahead and potentially to retest that key level of resistance line. Now if we look at the daily chart on GJ, we can see that the market has crossed that 10 and 20 EMA here on the daily, followed by pretty sharp bullish engulfer with again a complete cross above with a stronger momentum on GBP JPY. And we can see this is the daily price action last day of trading week form a bullish candle, and the way the market structure form, we saw that here it maintained series of higher low with a multiple rejection that could lead GJ to maintain its bullish trend, and I think the price may remain throughout the week upside on GBP JPY. Now from the intraday here on GJ, we can see that from the 4-hour chart, this is a sharp bounce followed by a doji, another move. So this is maintaining that typical bullish market structure, and break of this, any of this important support can give on GJ potential bounce here. So as soon as you will find here on GBP JPY for a possible bullish entry opportunity, we'll be looking to go long with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at dollar yen. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have in this instrument. Now looking at monthly, we can see that from the monthly perspective on dollar yen, which is basically showing sharp bullish market structure, starting from here on dollar yen, this is where the market started, and to this support level on dollar yen, and with that drop on dollar yen, the price in that support level, followed by a monthly doji, and we can see that from here we could see this market potentially to continue to back to the upside to weak fill from the monthly time frame on dollar yen, and we may see that potential trend continuation in this market. So looking at the weekly chart here on dollar yen, we can see that from the weekly, this is bull market. Here is the market was maintaining that series of higher low on dollar yen, where previous week a long wick doji, and with that long wick doji, we can see a big bullish impulse from the weekly on dollar yen, where the price is still maintaining that series of higher low, And what we can expect in this market, that the price to if the price drop to that support resistance turn support here, expecting dollar yen to potentially continue to trend back up here for long term picture. Now looking at the daily chart here on dollar yen, we can see that from the daily this is also maintaining that bullish market structure here, and we can see the price is maintaining that series of higher low, which is we can see the price going back to the upside with another potential momentum, where this is a key level of resistance here on dollar yen. And I think that this week we might see that potential trend continuation here to that level to create potentially new higher high. So looking at the 4-hour chart here on dollar yen, we can see that this is also maintaining that sharp uptrending market structure. Here is a more pullback, another more pullback, another more pullback. So the market is in a smooth uptrending market structure, leaving a swing high here, which is the previous resistance turn support, and expecting dollar yen to trend back down, retest, and then to revert back again in the major direction of the trend. So this could be the potential entry zone for dollar yen. As soon as you will find suitable entry, you will be looking to go long with a high probability trade setup. Traders, if you enjoyed this education and analysis, make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. So thank you, and I'll see you soon in my next analysis.